nuggets tonight.
We're not going to get that.
You guys ready?
Yeah, never.
Oh, literally.
That's from Mellon.
Perfect.
Sorry. Okay.
Yep.
We'll call the meeting to order. Tiffany, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Garvey. Present. Councilman Brennan.
Present.
Councilman Bundy.
Present.
Councilman Green.
Present.
Mayor Sykes.
Present. Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum for Tuesday, October 24th, 2023 at 5. Before the public hearing, I think Councilman Bundy wants to speak.
I do. Thank you. Is the microphone working?
Yeah.
Okay. I just really quick wanted to address an issue. I've been getting a lot of phone calls that haven't made a lot of sense. So I'm just going to quote from, and I'm going to read from the minutes of the special meeting of the Council of the City of Mountain Home, Omar County, Idaho, held on October 2nd, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. First off, due to the fact that I teach school 9:30s at second hour, so I have not been able to make the meetings for the golf course discussions. I expressed that to the council, and the decision was made to go ahead with the meetings because they could form a committee or form a quorum without me. That's fine. That was a decision that was made. I would have liked to have been to them, but I was unable to make them. I won't give any names because I am very, very careful to grant as much understanding for fellow council members as possible, but I just want to do this so that you know where I'm coming into this situation. So, and I don't know if this was the second of the 3 meetings that I missed or whatever, because they were being scheduled when I was teaching second hour and not able to come. A council member, and then I'm going to quote from the minutes. A council member made a motion to approve the proposed golf fees at a 42% increase and set a public hearing. Councilman Brennan Councilmember seconded the motion, stating they were interested in the public hearing testimony and the rates codes be changed. So that was the motion that was put forward. And then there was 3 council members that voted. I was not here because I was teaching school, and all 3 members voted aye. So I've received many phone calls asking me why I have supported and voted for the 42% increase, and the truth is I was not at the meeting. So I'm kind of as excited as the rest of us here to hear the reasons for the yeses. Now, I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to go into any conjecture. The council members are all very well briefed in this, and their yes votes could mean a myriad of things, and so I won't speculate on their yes votes. I just wanted the record to be clear, based on the number of phone calls that I'm getting, that I was not at the meetings where this was discussed, nor was I able to vote on it, and so, and the day after when I came and talked to the city clerk, and without knowing the discussion, so I do not know the discussion that happened in those meetings. When I was told that there was a 40% increase, and I looked at it and I said, that's too much. So that's where I stand based on what I know. And I'm also with you. It looks like there's a couple of us here that are going to talk about this issue, and I think that's great. I've tried to before it came to say hello, and I love the fact that we're here for city council meeting, and this is how we get things right, is when we express our opinions and we come together as a community to make sure we get the right, and I don't want this to sound like an excuse that I wasn't there, but these were scheduled at times when my teaching job took priority over these meetings. So I apologize that I was not able to make them, but they were scheduled without my, I would have loved to have had them at a different time. We'll leave it at that. That's all I had to say.
All right. Okay, public hearing. Run down to item number 1. Oh, yes. Hey, council, we just want you to be aware really quick on some of the bills.
On the payment approval report, if you go to page 16, under the fiber optic fund, you'll see MetroQuip. It says repair bore rig. It should actually say repair vac truck. The vac truck belongs as an asset to the fiber department. We've talked to staff, and they didn't understand it was a complicated invoice, so they didn't understand it. But anyway, it's corrected in the back office, so the data entry is done correctly. So during the audit, it will reflect correctly. But I just don't want to reprint all these for that reason alone. I just save paper. Do you have any questions on that? No. All right. Thanks for that opportunity to clear that up.
Thanks, Paula. Councilman Green?
Can I make a statement real quick?
Absolutely.
So, along with Councilman Bundy's statements, I need to clear something up. On Facebook, in a public forum, it was basically stated that a council person did not know where the percentage that we moved were to, and she didn't support it. In those same city council meetings, that council person is the one that made the motion to approve the 42% increase. So there's a lot of misinformation going on, so please be aware.
Okay, with that, Tiffany, want to run down to public hearing?
Yes. Please, no duplicate testimonies, no yelling or rude behavior, no personal attacks, 3-minute time limit for each person, and you cannot give your time to someone else, please. Okay.
Okay, who's the first one on the list?
It's closer.
Decker, Sanders.
Yep. And since looks like there's a lot of people here to testify, we are going to hold 3 minutes to where it is. So, timer, okay, Chris?
Mayor, members of the council, my name is Decker Sanders. I've lived in Mountain Home for 35 years. The user fee is a glaring item that was not used by anyone, city or TCS, during the calculations concerning fees. Mr. Persecki, Tim, when discussing season passes, stated that over recent years the number of season passes have increased while the number of rounds played under the passes dropped from 63 several years ago to 32 currently. I will use 32 rounds for the purpose of my observations. Playing 32 rounds for the under the current season pass costs the pass holder $664, not $600. That comes down to $20.75 a round, $18.75 plus the $2 user fee. When asked about pricing, Tim stated he preferred to see the cost per round under a season pass in the $20 to $25 range. At $22.50 for 32 rounds, this would be $720. Under the proposed increase, the season pass would total $916, or $28.63 a round. This over-the-top pricing scheme permeates throughout the proposal. I could speak against each of them, but time does not permit. Many of us that were here to see the Bag 9 put in recall the user fee and the rationale that it would go to pay for the Bag 9 and be deleted upon the payoff of the Bag 9. The Bag 9 is paid off, yet the fee remains. Consumer tolerance is a known variable in the success of any consumer-driven enterprise. Under the proposed scheme, the city would need to sell 3.64 season passes to recoup for each current season pass holder that chooses not to renew under this proposal. TJ, the person closest and most knowledgeable of your customer base, suggested increases back in May. And you'll hear more from others present, but it appears you're not listening or learning. As I admonished when contract for the TCS evaluation was let, and Tim substantiated, moving to self-sufficiency will take time. Tim also made a strong case that fee increases are more readily accepted when customers know what they're getting for their money. We do not. We have seen nothing that provides any sense of what, other than increasing costs, we will see as a result of these increases. The golf manager contract remains unresolved. We don't see what we're getting there. We don't see the purchase and installation of a new POS system or the date when it would occur. We see increasing costs without tangible evidence that we will have at least the status quo in terms of the golfing experience in Mountain Home. While I've not decided where I'll play next year, I'm increasingly disappointed I find myself inclined to look at other venues. I find hope in that increases have not yet passed, and the possibility of tabling this until a reasoned case can be made for it exists, and should that fail, there is the hope that a new city council will be willing to listen to the overwhelming voice of its citizens and take up this issue in the new term. Thank you.
Thanks, Decker.
I worked hard to make that 3 minutes. Good
job. Lynn Branton.
My name is Lynn Bratton, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself, my husband, and many other golfing members of the Mountain Home community. The Desert Canyon Golf Course is the only active entertainment venue we have here in Mountain Home for adults and children, and many of us feel like it's a home away from home. We understand that costs have to increase for maintenance and payroll. However, if they skyrocket past the costs we can afford, we won't be able to utilize the course at all. I read the report draft by TCS, and there were many things it got right. We agree that there should be a revenue share with Curly's and/or a rent increase, and we would expect that their prices would probably go up as a result. We believe that TJ Gomez is, in large part, responsible for the increase in revenue that the golf course has seen since 2016, and we feel that he deserves every penny that he gets. However, if Food and Beverage needs to pay rent and or revenue sharing, I personally think that the Pro Shop should as well, since it holds space in a city-owned building. The cost increase for golf fees, however, is where we stop agreeing. One thing that your report draft mentioned, and I believe is the leading justifier for the outrageous increase of 42% in annual passes, is the 76% revenue increase year over year since 2016, averaging 10% annually. That number is misleading. If you look at the revenue numbers for golf fees alone, only 3 of those 7 years were a 10% increase or more. 1 year was a 10% loss. The one that was 38% and skewed the rest of the numbers was 2020, which was COVID. After people realized they could leave their houses and do something, and the bowling alley was closed, they went golfing. And so far they've stayed, but the year-over-year increases since 2020 have gone back to an average of 8%. You can't ask us to stomach a 42% cost increase in 1 year based on numbers that have an anomaly like COVID-19 built into it but not even acknowledged. The Mountain Home community is largely made up of middle-class families, farmers, disabled and retired veterans, and blue-collar workers. According to the U.S. Census, our average income in Mountain Home is just over $50,000, far below the Idaho average of $72,000. We don't mind paying an increase in line with the increase of the cost of living, which is 3.2%. Most of us don't mind paying what TJ has proposed, $650 for a yearly pass, which is an increase of 8%. We might even pay $700 if it gives us better cart paths, tee boxes, sand traps without rocks, and restroom halls that don't stink. Asking us to pay $852, 42% over the current rate, is ridiculous, especially since we don't know what that will give us other than what we already have. Add to that the fact that you're potentially eliminating senior rates as well as child and high school golf team passes, and it's asking too much. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
John Andrews.
But I will say this. My name's John Andrews, for the record. I've lived in Mountain Home for 50 years, so. The weekday rate's going up 70%. What the hell? That's crazy. These people that play weekday only like me, we're all retirees. We're on fixed incomes. So I realize that prices have to go up. Everything's gone up. Maintenance is expensive, very expensive. No one denies that. As the lady previous to me so perfectly stated, we'll willingly pay more if we see what we get for our money. Yeah, think about that weekday only. We're a lot of retirees in this town, military and government and otherwise. And we are on fixed incomes. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Sean.
Brenda McCarthy.
Council, Mayor, thank you for your time. I don't like to call the golf, I think the golf course is an amenity, and I think that's something that we need here in town. Nobody's disagreeing that we need to raise the rates. I think that we need to go at it at a systematic and a constructive way where we're having the involvement of public input. I think you're going to hear a lot, testimony about the 42% and that. I do want to point out that we have another golf course that's pretty close here that we'll be competing against if we do something this big with an increase. I hear all the time about people saying, well, I can't go out to the base. Well, that's kind of a misnomer that you can get a gunfighter base pass if you pass a background check and you don't have to have a military sponsor. So if we're going to increase these rates this much and basing it off of this thinking we're going to keep business in here, I can imagine people going out to the base and we're losing business. So even if we're increasing here to try to bridge that gap on the deficit, how much are you going to keep going so that now we're losing customers and now you're just back to square one? I think the 42% is way high. I think we need to slowly increment up to that. Another thing on the season passes, that's your upfront capital. That's a guarantee when someone goes and buys that you're having that revenue up front instead of waiting for someone to come and spend, 32 rounds and everything like that. You see that business model all the time with Soldier Mountain. You see it with Bogus Basin and that. That is upfront capital money. So if we're going to start increasing again on the season passes, that's something we need to start thinking about too, is how are we going to look at this at a business approach? I hate saying that because it is an amenity. We need to have that here. But we have to systematically look at it and say, what is a tolerable increase so that we're not losing customers and we're back to square one. So, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you, Lynn.
Carletta McCarthy.
I usually leave the politics to my husband. However, I am a proud alumnus of the Tiger Golf Program and a teacher in the Mountain Home School District, and a mother of future Tigers. And I would like to speak out about the importance of keeping the $40 high school pass as part of the fees offered at the golf course. I thought it may be beneficial to explain what that pass meant as a high school player. It meant picking up the golf balls off the range for every one that you hit. It meant spending one weekend a year beautifying the golf course with the men's and women's leagues members, and it meant finding our sponsors for the now well-attended Tiger Golf Open. Thank you, Mr. Manduka, for all the sponsorships in high school. And for now, which is one of the biggest fundraisers of the high school athletic department. More importantly, though, it meant that any kid who wanted to play could afford to do so. We are all well aware golf is an expensive sport to begin with, so please do not burden children who are dedicating their time to learn the sport and represent our town around the state. The city often states we are one town, one team. If you truly mean that, please consider keeping the $40 pass for the Tiger Golf Program to ensure all those children who wish to play are able to afford it.
Chrissy Newer.
Hi, good evening. I'm Christy Neuer. I have lived in Mountain Home since '06, so not as long as everybody else. However, in 2020, I did discover during COVID that I have a very high interest in golf. And not only for my own interest, but just because it created a community for me that I have looked long and hard for as I've lived here in Mountain Home. And the people there have become an extended part of my family. With the prices that you have proposed at 42%, I feel like you're going to lose a lot of those people because it's a residual cash sport. Therefore, to budget for that, it's going to be harder with the wages and the incomes that we have in Mountain Home. I guess the why is pretty important to all of us, and to know it and to see it may make it more tangible. We understand it has to increase. We understand the cost of living and what things cost. There has to be an increase, but that 42% in 1 year, it just doesn't make sense. And to me, because I also oversee the funds of the Mountain Home Air Force Base Golf Course, so I feel like sometimes you make this decision because you think you have a monopoly and that we're not going to go elsewhere. However, we're already prospering because if you go this route, we're already setting up. We already have the gunfire pass in place. It's good for 6 months, as long as they can pass a background check. And we're going to set up tea times. We're going to establish food. We're going to move forward, and we'll take those people that can't pay them, and we're going to build our community out there. So I would like to see it stay in the city because I've enjoyed it, and I enjoyed TJ. that stay better and them are just as well, and that golf course is maintained just as well. We're just missing a few pieces, and we'll make it work, and we'll bring the people out there.
Thank you.
Debbie Meredith.
Debbie Meredith, been golfing for about 30 years. Everybody's talking about a 42% increase. Well, my golf storage fee went up more than 200%. It went from $200 to $585. It's a gas storage, it's a gas cart, so I'm not using any electricity. There's no lights in there, there's no power, so why that big of an increase? The other thing is the user fee. When somebody buys a season pass, they get to the door, they don't have to pay any more money. You're charging me a user fee on top of a season pass. It just doesn't make any sense. And like Mr. Decker said, it was supposed to have been done away with a long time ago. With the increases that you're proposing, the least you can do is give us a break and get rid of the user fee, whether it's for the annual season pass or the weekday pass. That needs to be gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.
Mark Russell.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I first want to draw your attention to the public notice that was published. Idaho Code 63, Chapter 13, Section 1311A, and I'll quote it: "The taxing district must give public notice of its intent to make a decision on a proposed fee increase." And as I look at your public notice, it says the purpose of the hearing is to obtain citizen input and public comment on the imposition of the following proposed increases, becoming effective October 25th. I don't believe that adequately states that you're going to make a decision this evening if you intend to. We've already talked about Mountain Home Air Force Base and their rates. I want to tell you about that theory of diminishing returns, and I point you to the impact fees that had been established by the city, and you're eventually retracting some of those fees or discounting those because of lost revenue. We're in danger of repeating that mistake here. Recent capital purchases indicate we have as much of a spending problem as much of a revenue problem at the golf course, and I draw your attention to the machinery, the capital expenditures, and the dining tables that were purchased out at the golf course. I just question whether or not those particular expenditures are absolutely necessary versus leasing some of that equipment, and as we used to borrow it in years past. And again, the $20,000+ study that was commissioned by the city specifically warned against making this type of a decision on rates that not exceed 42%, but in some cases exceed 100%. And I draw your attention to page 6 of that report. In that study, it says customers may seek alternative options if rates increase too dramatically. I'm here to tell you that customers will seek those alternative options, including golfing out at the base. And I've had dozens of people ask me to park their carts across the street on my property, which I won't allow. That just undercuts the city, but they're pretty serious about it. So, that being said, Mr. Mayor, I ask that the council seriously consider not taking such a large bite out of the apple. Everybody acknowledges that rates probably do need to increase to stay with expenditures and such, but piling it all on in 1 year is probably just a little bit too much, and I think you'll see diminishing returns. I thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, sir.
Helen Stoles.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilman. My name's Helen Stoles. I live here in Mountain Home since 2020. My husband and I moved here because we wanted a smaller town environment, We looked around and had been coming through here for 6 years and found out that the golf course was something we enjoyed and we could afford it. We, as well, at our age, are on a fixed income, and we have to be very careful where we spend our money. I have 4 questions that I would like answers to as I read them, if you don't mind. I wasn't quite sure what constituted the 42% rate increase and why weren't these prices raised over the years in smaller increments. I save money each year to pay for my husband and me to play golf. Now you're saying in your flyer that these price rates will go into effect tomorrow. Is that true, or will this meeting have some bearing on how much the rate increases will be? I'd like an answer to that if you can give me some
This
time.
is I can get you those answers after the public hearing.
Okay.
Or after the city council meeting.
Okay. How does the city allocate funds to meet their department's needs? If the golf course has not had the budget to maintain and improve the course, where is the money coming from to improve Railroad Park, which will not generate money for the city? The golf course is constantly busy with tournaments and social play and must generate money for golf course maintenance and improvements. Will the funds generated from the new rates be put into the golf course department budget, or do these funds go back into the city's budget? What city departments generate funds besides the golf course? Are you asking other departments to raise their rates at this amount to support your city budget? Does the city share equipment across departments to save cost? If the city has equipment, operators, and golf course employees that can improve and maintain the golf course, especially the golf cart paths, it should be available for use if needed, regardless of which department it is assigned to. This would be a huge savings for the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dennis Stoles.
Oh, all I did was sign him in. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I don't talk.
Nice. David Tapp.
My name is David Tapp. I've been in Mountain Home since 1972, an avid golfer. And in that time, the golf course has been nothing but a pain in the butt for the city. A pain in the butt. You finally get somebody in here that is running it. We got a good golf pro, we got a good snack bar, and what's going to end up happening with this pay raise is about half the membership is going to leave because they can't afford it. They're either going to go to the base or they're going to go to Boise. And I mean, if they're going to pay that fees, they can go play a golf course, fully maintained, cut grass, the whole works. I mean, I think it's just ridiculous, and I think this fee is absorbent because you want to ask for the moon and then you're going to settle for like 20%. It's a big joke, and you're trying to pull it on the people, and they're not going for it. I mean, we have a great system out here. We've got a great golf course. For Podunk, Idaho, we're in a small group. We're in a unique area. And it's just a shame something like this is going to ruin it. And it's too bad that you guys paid $20,000 for some idiot to come in here and tell you need a pay raise. And I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's just really too bad. It's going to be a situation where you're going to lose money because the people aren't going to pay that. They might pay green fees, but they're not going to join the members. And I'd like to know, and nobody has been able to tell me what the $2 nuisance fee goes for. I heard it goes in the general fund, and that's not what it was designed for. Can anybody tell me this? Originally, it was to pay off the back 9 and go to the cart pass and some of that. And I heard it goes in the general fund and they just blow it on maybe maintenance at the park or something, I don't know. And another thing I think you need to look at is your budgeting. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You've got a budget of so many dollars for the golf course and it's tied into the golf course. I mean, you've got the clubhouse, you're spending thousands of dollars upkeeping that, and it's all on Jake. I mean, that's not fair for him. I mean, he needs his own budget so he knows what he's got, what he can do, and who he can hire. I mean, he needs an assistant bad. We probably need an assistant in the pro shop for TJ. I mean, you need to have somebody in there when he's not around that can make a decision and do the right job.
Thanks, Dave.
I appreciate your time.
Brenda Schwartz. Sorry.
That's okay.
I got all the way to the end. I knew I'd mess up one.
I have a lot of people. Hi, I'm Brenda Schwartz. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'd like to address a couple of things. First of all, we've talked about the rates going up too much. We have, as people have said, retired military vets, and we have widowers and widows that are trying to also buy season passes, and we can't afford it anymore. I'd like to talk about the storage sheds. It has gone up 100%. It was $375, including trail fees. It's now gone up to $835. I believe that these storage sheds were built and donated to the city. The city did not put those sheds up. Cristobal built them and then they were donated. You guys have gained profit from these storage sheds all these years, but yet there's been no maintenance done on them. I had to have a friend of mine come out and help me fix the door so I could open it up and get my cart in. They've been hit, they've been, but no maintenance. But yet you guys want me to be okay with raising it this amount of money when you haven't even maintained them to make them look halfway decent and to protect our property inside. And that's basically what we're paying for, is to protect our property. And no one on the city council has gone out there and said, all right, we need to adjust this, but you justify raising them. And I think that's 100% wrong. Also, I'd like to address, the crap that, in my opinion, no one else, that what we were yelling at TJ for. TJ has given us so many opportunities, not just as golfers, but as people learning to golf. He's always there. He's the first one to answer the phone. And I think we need to figure out that. And that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Brenda.
Yeah.
That's the list, unless there's another.
Is there anybody else that want to jump on this list? Come on down, sir.
This one?
Is it in regards to the golf, Don?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm not a professional golfer or anything, but I'm speaking for some of these other people that are.
Oh, Don Gus, sorry.
Anyway, I'm speaking for some of these golfers that have been around here forever and some that are passing through whatever. I grew up here, graduated here. I don't play golf, but class reunions, they contribute money to this thing, and you're going to lose some of them. There's people in all these different classes of graduations that come to play golf, and they may not like it neither, and I don't think there's very many. And I don't really personally know the manager, but he treated the class reunions when they show up there very nicely. Food, had all kinds of activities for them. We played scramble ball. There were some professional golfers there that were on leagues that came out. They rented carts, all that stuff. They spent a half a day 2-3 days here doing that. And they may not do it, they'll find some other thing to do. And like the one lady said, the widowers, that's how they get together and maybe have a little communication amongst them. They don't have too many friends left, a lot of them. So that's their way to get back to kind of a life or have people around them. Equipment, I don't know how much equipment you guys got, but I'd like to see a list sometime. You guys should be able to take like the little city Parks and Rec, the little Kubota or something. If that guy needs it on that, unless he needs a big one, you should be able to let him use that out there on that golf course. If he's got a guy qualified enough to do it, if not, you guys should send somebody over there that is. And that. I don't know what he's got for equipment out there. You got electric golf carts, you got gas-powered ones. Like she said, the sheds have been there forever. I know it takes a little bit to repair them. Maybe you need to let these folks have a little time, free time with some of the equipment if they take care of it. Give them a week or something pass for a free golf cart or something with their deal. That's about all I got to say.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Tom.
You have some more that might want to add.
Yeah.
Come on up.
Come on up.
I wave them off, sorry.
Oh, I didn't see. I'll keep this short and sweet.
State your name for me, sir.
Jeff Wilson.
Okay.
I think a lot of people that have spoken already hit the nail on the head. 42% they're trying to get. We're going to be heroes if we go to 2025. So that's what I think. They're trying to be used car salesmen here. And for anybody that knows, you can skin a sheep or shear a sheep every year. You can only skin them once. So. Come on up, sir.
Ed Schmelzer. Well, I don't know if you guys are aware of it.
What's your name, sir? I'm sorry.
Ed Schmelzer.
Ed?
Yeah.
Sorry.
But when you drive through the parking lot there, you see a lot of 1A plates, which I'm not happy about, but there's a lot of people coming over from Boise now spending money at that golf course because they like the way it's maintained. I talked to them, and they like the way it's maintained and the way it looks and the way it plays. And you start raising those fees. There's a lot of golf courses over there in Boise, Nampa, and Caldwell. The only other thing I have to say is, you guys may not be familiar with these two things, but New York used to have a lot of luxury boat builders. They decided to raise the taxes. The people that bought those boats could have afforded to pay the taxes, but they didn't. They went to Europe to buy those boats. New York got nothing out of it. Same thing in Detroit. Detroit used to be a nice town. They got a mayor that raised a lot of taxes. People that made the money left Detroit. Now you know what Detroit looks like, I'm sure. And that's all I've got.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
My husband will go, oh, no, she just stopped.
State your name, please.
I'll have to spell it. My name is Rosalind Kundick. C like Charlie, U like under, N like Nancy, D like David, I-C-K. My husband and I are just recently, as of September, new members here and new homeowners. We spent 4.5 years trying to find a place that we would like to live. I do have family outskirts of the area, but they're all older than I am. In fact, one of them just passed away. Part of the reason why we chose this place was the community, the people, And the biggest draw to us was the golf course. The man sitting back there, TJ, welcomed us with open arms, brand new, welcomed us to the community. More than willing to talk to us about anything that was going on. Very open about the community's activities and what they're doing and the tournaments that came and how we could get involved with and who to talk to. He was your first person that out-of-towners are going to see. He's the one you need as the spokesperson to keep him up and viable and going. The other reason we bought in Mountain Home was the golf course. We bought a home about a block and a half from it. That was a big seller for us as well, because we could just putz over there and go. We are retired and we are on a very fixed income, and buying a home here was much more than we had ever planned on paying, but we bit the bullet and did it. This is our last home. We will not be going anywhere else. So don't take this one activity away or make it so expensive that most of the retirees can't afford it. And I'm one of them. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Anybody else? Come on out, sir.
My name is Ernie Bidon, and I've been here since 1979, and have been golfing that whole time. I know there's been a lot of talk in the past about the city's involvement in a golf course, but nobody ever complains about Legacy Park and how much it costs to maintain that, and charging a fee for the soccer fans that come down there to watch their kids play. So I think to a certain degree that our tax money that's going toward the golf course is a good thing. With that in mind, has it ever been thought about having like a lottery card for the golf course where residents pay a different price than non-residents? Because we do see a lot of 1A license plates here. Maybe they ought to be paying a little more than we do. The other thing is, why is the user rate for a week pass more than a 7-day pass, $2 as opposed to $5? That makes no sense whatsoever. I think that I agree with what's been said, that you're going to find a lot of people, myself included, going out to the base if the prices are what they're reflected in the proposal. Thank you.
Thanks, Vinny. Anybody else? All right, we will close.
Hang on.
Wait.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that you all received emails from John LaFleur. I sent you an email regarding Mr. McMahon, Richard McMahon. Terry Manduka sent an email.
I got that one.
And then Gisela Light put a letter in your boxes, which I provided in the packet. And I provided a copy of everything besides Mr. McMahon's thoughts.
I didn't get the first one, I don't think.
It should have been in the packet, but I have it here.
Tip, I forwarded a letter to everybody from Bob, LifeSafe.
Okay. Can I get a copy of that? Sure. Please. If you want to just forward it to me, then I can put it with everything. Thank you. No.
Oh, Councilman Brennan?
On that note, we're not really to a conflict yet, but it's on the topic of this, so I'm just going to talk about it now. I got an email. I don't know who this sender was. It looks like it originally came from Jeff Rhodes, but on behalf of somebody named Dusty, and I don't know who Dusty is, or that I can say for sure that he authored this email, but Jeff Rhodes sent it, and it came through him, and the purpose of this email is what I would take as the exact opposite of what everybody's saying in here, is that we shouldn't be giving our money to basically going in. Well, it'd be hard for me to truly say what it says. It's a very long email, but I'll send it to Tiffany for the record.
Thank you.
I believe I got that same email.
Thanks, council.
I have a question. So the emails that you received, are those public input? Should we be hearing those?
No, legal, do we have to read them verbatim?
No.
No.
They're a matter of public record.
Where
But
can
they
we see
are.
those? Because
you
they
can-
probably couldn't be here tonight, so.
Well, that's why you're entitled to orally testify if you wish to do so, or you could submit it in writing. It's the same thing.
I just wanted to hear what they had to say. So where
Well-
can I see that?
You could get a copy of it.
Perfect.
Of what the emails are.
Okay, any other comments? All right, we'll close the public hearing.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Going down to department heads. I'm gonna go with Chief Thompson. You're up, my friend. There's the only one I can find besides the front.
Shasta's back there too.
Is she back there?
Nothing gets decided today.
There she is. Oh, Shasta.
So first you go through staff reports, then.
So council, real quick. No,
I have to bounce.
Council.
By statute.
I gotta bounce.
Mayor.
Mayor. I'm trying to get everyone. I'm bouncing. Okay.
He's in charge.
Want to hand that down to Becky?
I'm going to email you and say that I don't have any of those systems that I thought I had. I must have gotten rid of them.
They can if they want to do business.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome.
They don't care. They're gonna.
Did you say you had
Well, they've also reduced their.
Betsy's gonna do a department head report. So, Chief, before you, I'm gonna have Betsy go first.
That's why I said it.
I'm so confused with this. Thank you.
That's why I said it. All right.
Oh, yes. I'm so
Oh, they
sorry.
have a good
I
news?
couldn't find your email. It's not your first name. Got it, okay.
I agree. Why would we do this before we know what the end effect is going to be? Does that make sense what I'm saying? We don't have a contract. Okay, I thought the same thing.
But TJ's rushing us to get it done so we can sell them.
I'm sorry?
No, he's in the back.
Thank you. Planned that on purpose. Yeah, I gotta come up against my battles here.
Tiffany will verify that he's a pro of it, or an advocate of it.
Yeah, I put it in the drawer. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I just do like this. Keep her up. You're like, where'd you go? Okay.
That was good.
Are we ready?
Yep, I'm ready. Department heads.
Okay. Department head comments. Betsy.
So council, I don't really have much I have a lot going on, but for the purpose of time, I just really want to turn my time over to the Mountain Home News' editor-in-chief. Miss Crystal is here with us, and I want you guys just to kind of get to know that face, and she'll be joining a lot of our meetings and doing a lot of good work, so just want to introduce her.
Hi, my name is Crystal. I am the new Mountain Home News editor. I've been a member of the community for the last 3 years, so I'm still kind of getting to know everything and everybody's face, obviously. And it's been a really fun experience. I've only been there for a week, so be gentle with me. But you all are more than welcome to reach out to me at any point if you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'm more than happy to hear any of them at any time, and I'm just very grateful for the opportunity to be a part of all of this. So, thanks.
Thank you.
For the record, beat that Shasta.
Well, as far as what we have coming up, we're participating in Spooktacular, and we plan to give away 800 books. Instead of candy, we give out books, so we're excited about that. But we also, at the same time, partnered with the Arts Council. They are having a presentation about Anne Frank, and it's a Living Voices presentation through the eyes of a friend. And that's going to be at the library from 7 to 8:30. We also have going on tonight from 6 to 8 is Teens After Hour Karaoke. And then next week we have our Spooky Story Time and Costume Parade on Halloween at 11 a.m. We also have in November, in the middle of November, we have teen safe driving course, and it's actually virtual reality. And we're partnering with the base, actually, the Mountain Home Air Force Base Youth Center. They're going to partner with us on that program. So that's going to be on the 18th of November. And then we also have Family Reading Week in November from the 6th to the 12th. We'll have the Arts Council come and talk about art, because that's the theme this year. We'll also have an art gallery themed escape room, and that will be for all ages. And then we also have our Dangerous Day for Boys coming up November 4th. We're going to learn about hiking safety, learn about how to tie knots, how to pitch a tent, how to build a fire, that kind of skill set. So we're excited about that as well.
Chief?
2 items for us. We're doing a drug take back on Saturday for unused and expired prescription drugs and over-the-counter medication. Our doors will be open Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the front lobby. Just drop those off. We cannot accept liquids or syringes, but anything else we can take in. We're in the middle of our state accreditation program right now. The accreditors are at the PD looking over policies, evidence, doing audits. So far, it's going extremely well. I'm very happy with the progress we've made. A couple minor glitches we have to fix, but nothing we can't overcome in the next few weeks. So I look forward to having that done quickly, hopefully the next month or two.
Great, thank you. Okay, we will run down to conflict of interest declaration. Has any council member received information pertaining to or otherwise had any contact with any person regarding any items on this city council agenda? If so, please set forth the nature of the contact.
Nothing other than the golf course. Correct.
Okay, same here. Okay, we'll run down to the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions on the consent agenda, items they want to pull, discuss, talk about?
Councilman Garvey?
Councilman Brennan?
I'd like to talk, just, it's nothing more than clarify the record on items G and H. We're not acquiring a new loader, we are simply refinancing the giant balloon payment that we've already agreed upon, so we're just spreading that out a little bit further, so nothing new added to our fleet there.
That is correct, Councilman.
Can I continue?
Yeah, please.
Item I, which is an annexation agreement, or annexation stuff. I don't wish to change anything on this one, but I would like to get the council's consent for a future discussion / action item to be added to the next agenda, which would be to discuss the city ordinance relating to annexation costs for water right fees for properties at or under 1 acre in size. If you guys would so agree to that.
I would agree.
Thank you.
Councilman Brennan, can you clarify what you mean by the at or 1 acre of the water?
Yeah, let me pull the
Is it the fee? Is that what you're talking about?
the fee for water rights
Okay.
when you annex in.
Water rights or how to hook up?
Water.
Okay.
So the current ordinance says that if you're below 1 acre, I don't know if it says at or below, but below 1 acre, you don't have to pay water right acquisition fees to the city. So I'd like to discuss that in the future. Because I foresee that we're going to have a lot of less than 1 acre annexations coming up in the future.
Okay.
Thank you for your support on that. And then,
That would apply to J too, wouldn't it?
yes.
All the same.
Okay.
As far as item K, I had a question for legal. Let me pull that one really quick. This is on the decision. This is something I requested earlier. I just want to make sure it's worded right. Where it talks about this is the Hilo propane property. It says the condition would be approved when the applicant sorry, I'm not reading it correctly. I'm kind of cutting in the middle here. Highway 30, Mountain Home, Idaho, be approved with the condition that the applicant shall provide a record of all annual inspections to the city within 30 days of receipt. I'm just trying to ask if, as that's written, is that a perpetual condition? That
would be perpetual.
That if they fail to provide that, then we have the ultimate authority to revoke the conditional use permit?
Oh, that's interesting. The way it's stated, it is an annual requirement. I wouldn't really want to be put on the spot to say that I would support 9 years from now revoking what has in all respects been a CUP in full compliance based upon something that jurisdictionally, do we have the right to demand it? I mean, arguably we do, but I would caution us doing that. However, I mean, it does require them to provide it every year. Whether it's actionable if they fail to do it, I would have some pause about it.
So what's the purpose if there's no teeth?
Because you wanted it. I mean, quite frankly.
I wanted it with teeth.
Yes, but I mean, submitting why is this flying chasing me? Don't answer. A condition of approval is that they provide their annual inspections. And if they didn't do it, I suppose it is legally it is grounds to revoke the CUP. That is the precise legal answer. I'm just telling you, having done this for 30 years, that is not one I would really want to be arguing in court. Just saying.
Okay.
But legally, what you have requested is there, and legally it does, quote unquote, have the teeth. I just would try to caution you against that if it ever came up.
So it is there, and it's just a decision at that moment if the council wanted to pursue any action.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go, the individual property rights versus the needs of the community to see these inspections. If the inspection shows that it's, one of these inspections shows that it's in violation, then we win in court real easy. But if we're doing it just to poke a bear, don't know if I'd really want to do that.
That's the thing. If there was a violation identified and they don't give it to us, then they keep going with the violation. I'm not saying that they would, but I want to protect not only their rights, but the surrounding property owner rights.
Yeah. I'm with you. And legally, it's sound.
Okay.
And my caution that I'm just trying to advocate to you.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. May I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Councilwoman Garvey,
Councilman Bundy?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as printed.
I'll second it. Okay, so I will ask the question. All in favor? Councilman Brennan?
Can I ask one more question real quick? You just pause on the motion real quick.
Yeah, yes, sorry, go ahead.
For Chris, maybe, I didn't see anything about any kind of like sidewalk demand on the annexation of the 1.91 acres. I know we don't typically require sidewalks when there's nothing on both sides of it, but it's usually indicated in there that at the time of when
In request, they asked that the curb gutter and sidewalk be deferred until it reaches them, which is pretty standard. It was in the original request that they submitted.
But it's not in our annexation agreement.
Yeah.
So, was it?
It's number 5.
Did I miss it?
It's number 5.
I wrote it.
Yeah.
I remember it. Typing it.
Sorry.
I'm pretty sure it's in there.
Okay.
It says that the owner has requested as part of the attached annexation agreement to delay required installation of curb gutter sidewalk. It says it's in the middle of the block until development in the neighboring sidewalks is contiguous.
I totally missed it. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Brennan.
All right.
All right, and I vote Councilman Darby votes aye as well. Okay, so we will move on down to,
Did I vote aye? Oh, aye.
I'm sorry, that threw me off, I apologize. The leaving in the middle of the meeting definitely threw me off, okay. So we'll go down to old business, action item number 1. We decided that we would let Erica not have to sit through this crazy meeting. That is the deliberation decision on the Mellon Water District land lease. Yes.
Yeah, they just, when I talked to her, they didn't have anything new. They did have that letter that I provided you that they sent out to the residents, and so, and they did appreciate, not having to sit through all that.
Richard, Katie, I apologize. I didn't ask any of you guys. I just realized that. I'm so sorry.
No, it was
Do you have anything else you'd like to update us? I mean, it was just this whole crazy.
There was just a little eye contact, and they're like,
Oh, no, I'll just sleep down.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll get it together. Okay, all right, I'll get it together. Okay, so we'll move on down to action item number 2, deliberation decision on the airport hangar land lease for row A, lot 11, for, is it Axe Sponsor Company, and to authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Councilman Gart.
Councilman Bundy, excuse me.
I remember last meeting when Councilman Brennan brought this up, and it's a good question. And it seems like it was answered, I'd forgotten, but could I'd like to ask Mr. Yurkiti if he remembers the question and the answer that we got and where we stand on that.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that you weren't here last time.
No,
so
I was kind of here at the end. I came in late in the meeting, but, Council, so, Tiffy and I Tiffy did some research. I had her do. She did some research. She sent it out in her listserv, which is an awesome thing that the clerks have. So they get a lot of information back, and so she provided you the costs for the what's kind of going in our area. The team, I know, it's all good. We also talked to Tom Hogue, which he apologized he couldn't be here today. He had to go pick up an airplane somewhere else and doing some stuff, but he has a lot of insight what's going on too. And I'll give you a quick kind of rundown on kind of what I was trying to get to the last time I talked about it. So, and I'm going to kind of go two parts of this because we also provided a little memo saying that this isn't really this gentleman's problem in the first place, because I've passed out information that says it's 5%. So usually people call, I have which lots are open, how much each one of them is, and is it, because it just depends on the size of the lots. So if that's something that we need to change, we can certainly do that. But in this case, that's what he was going off of. So that's why we said that this would be great if we could just, move this one and have a conversation about it later. And so a quick rundown, which I think we do. I think we're fine with that. I'd like to have Tom here in there with the conversation also. Really what it comes down to is the airport runs off of tail numbers. So the more airplanes that we can get out there, the more AIP money that we get. And so that's why, if you look at, I think Gooding is a great one to go off of. They're 6 cents. So, even if we went up to 6 cents, I think that would be the way to go. Their goal is to get 100 planes out there, so they jump up their AIP money. And that's 75, I have to look at it, 75, 100, somewhere right in that number. So that's our goal. We put in you guys approved to put in the two new runways that we didn't have to put a dime in because we didn't even have to pay a match with this one. So just how much money's coming in from things. And the goal was to get hangars out there to get the tail numbers on there. So that's really the big thing with that. So we'll bring it up later at another meeting if you'd like to. But I'd be happy with 6% or 6 cents. Moving that up to kind of what Gooding has and kind of some plan that they have. Some of those other ones that you look at, like Caldwell, they have a lot of manufacturing, airport, like aircraft manufacturing kind of groups. They pay a little bit, so that's probably why they have a little bit more, little different type of things. Tom has more information on it. He flies around all over the place and looks at what's kind of going on. So I'm just kind of giving you the quick rundown of what that was. So.
Okay. One more. Sure. Yeah, thanks. So the last time it came up, it seems like we came back that we're in the ballpark for the costs of other airports to do this, and like I think you said, and I agree that we can have this conversation. I think it's a good conversation to make sure where we want to be. When you say AIP money, you're talking about money from the FAA.
Yes.
And part of the reason that additional funding and those additional projects is we're used for BLM, and we're used for the firefighters, and we're used as an emergency air landing strip for Gowan and for the Air Force Base. So, you know, we sometimes people say, well, we have multiple big airports real close, but the functions of the Mountain Home City Airport are different and very important for Elmore County and for all of our firefighting and rural aspects and general aviation. So, yeah, I think it was a great question to make sure that we're doing the right number on the lease. But this gentleman was already involved, and he brings in a tail number from outside the community, which also helps our FAA money, correct?
Oh, yeah, the more tail numbers we have, that's what, in the landings and everything that we have, so. Yeah.
That's all I have.
Great, thank you.
Councilman Gray?
Councilman Brennan?
Yeah, I apologize for the delay. I'm glad we're having the discussion about where we stand. I did take the numbers that Tiffany found for us. And
I'll give her the credit.
just the price per square foot, not the flat hanger site prices. I averaged those 6 prices out, if I did my math right, to 15 cents a square foot, based on the average of what we got. So from 5 to 6 cents, I don't know, but I suppose we can probably have that discussion at a later time. I don't intend to delay another decision tonight. We'll move forward, but since you made kind of a promise to him as to where the city was at on prices. But Tiffany, if I understand right, it's your intent to call a workshop or a special session so we can further discuss?
Councilwoman?
Tiffany?
Councilman Brennan, you are correct. After doing a little bit of research, and we've had this conversation now twice, it seems it comes to the table every time you guys have a lease in front of you. It's not fair to the applicant that's about to build something new on our property, that we will definitely either have a offline work session with this topic alone and have Tom and our JUB engineer rep in, and you guys can ask all the questions you want.
Perfect, thank you.
And I talked to Tiffany a little bit. What I would like to see when we get out of kind of our political pause is some future planning of some of these items that we need to just talk about and start to work through some of these lease agreements that we need to look through, what's coming up, some of the issues, the airport lease, hangar amounts, and just get maybe a planning session with all of us in the room and what Tiffany needs us to kind of housekeep, I guess, for lack of better words. So I don't know. I know that Councilman Bundy won't be here, but you and I will be, and I'd like to see maybe that happen so that with this sort of subject maybe doesn't come up as much.
We'll do it at 3 or 4. I can be here.
No, and it's fair.
A lot of after the term.
You won't be here.
That's
anyway.
right. I leave on the 1st of January. I'm just teasing. I'm sorry.
You're not counting down, are you?
No.
Okay, just checking. Okay, so
Madam President?
Yes.
Just what, Councilman Brennan, I didn't promise him anything. I just want that to the record. I just provided the information on a handout that we give to people that have questions about that, and that's what our going rate was. So I didn't say this is what you have. I just wanted to say I can't do that. So that's not.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? You said tail. What was
ma'am,
the word?
sorry, I'm sorry, we can't. But we can address you afterwards. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say somebody maybe in the audience.
Councilman Brody.
Councilman Brennan.
I'll make a motion to approve the airport hangar land lease for row A, lot 11. Authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table. We'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Councilman Garvey. Aye. Okay.
Councilman Garvey.
Councilman Brennan.
Oh, sorry, I don't know if I need to call it first. Action item number 3.
That's where I was getting. That's right. Okay.
He was quick.
I was going to make a motion to approve the lease agreement.
Okay, action item number 3, deliberation decision to pass resolution 31-2023R, approving the lease agreement with Axe Sponsor Company, hangar space indicated by row A, lot 11 at the Mountain Home Municipal Airport, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Yes.
Yes, what?
I make that motion to pass that.
I second. Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Garvey? Aye. Okay, we'll move on to new business. We had no items removed from the consent agenda, so we'll move to number 2. Action item deliberation decision to approve resolution 32-2023R establishing golf fees effective October 25th, 2023 for the 2024 golf season and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to sign. Council?
Councilman McGarvey.
Councilman Brennan?
Just a couple of real short questions, I think. Can I ask TJ to come down? Welcome.
Hello.
TJ, I'm gonna jump right in here. I don't know if this is how it's always been, or if this is something new that maybe there's an error, or I just basic question on the what we published for the rate increase here under season passes. There's a weekday only, Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. Why is Friday included in there when everywhere else Friday is included under the weekend?
Well, we charge weekend rate for transient golfers on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but we honor the weekday pass Monday through Friday.
You say that one more time for me. Transient meaning.
So if somebody's just coming to play golf, we went to a Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend rate about 4 years ago, I think, approximately. The first half of my tenure here, let's call it the first 5 years, we only had the weekend rate on Saturday, Sunday. In order to help the city make more money, I came to the council about 4 or 5 years ago and said every golf course in America charges Friday, Saturday, Sunday rates for weekend. So it allowed us to make more money on Fridays.
Okay. So is this a new thing here where it says weekday only, season pass Monday through Friday? Or should that be a Monday through Thursday?
I think it should stay Monday through Friday, no question.
Oh, okay.
That's the way it's always been. I don't think there should be any change there.
So that would be the only thing that the golf course counts as a, the only Friday on this plan that they consider a
Those are
weekday?
two completely separate rates. I mean, you're talking about a season pass holder, so you're dealing with them in a bubble. The person coming to the counter, I mean, they don't look at it that way.
Okay.
If they're like driving out of Twin Falls or something, or just coming to play golf.
Okay.
We do the senior rate Monday through Thursday. We do the military rate 7 days a week. We do the weekday pass Monday through Friday. We do weekend green fees on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All of those scenarios are pretty standard in the golf business.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend any change in any of those areas.
There's a note here that says weekday passes are Monday through Thursday, not Monday through Friday.
I don't know where that is being shown.
Weekday only.
In the parentheses?
Yeah.
On the season passes.
No, up on, right where it says new
Under
fee increase.
New fee increases.
Daily,
rather
isn't
than-
Yeah.
Those are daily rates.
Okay, so still just, we're separating Fridays daily versus weekend, or season, I'm sorry.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the daily rate, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we charge weekend rate.
Okay.
Monday through Thursday, we charge regular public. Monday through Thursday, we charge senior. 7 days a week, we charge military.
Okay. And, TJ, I wanted to hear your thoughts. I know we've had a lot of opportunity to talk, but the public hasn't been so able to hear those about the 42% increase. How you helped us steer that ship.
As far as?
What do you think of them?
I think they're too high. I mean, I proposed what I proposed in May. I think what I proposed in May, I've been saying this the whole time we've gotten together. I think my contract that I proposed in May was very fair. I think the rates I proposed in May were very fair. In my discussions with Tim, he thought the rates I put forth in May were pretty good. I mean, I would rather see a qualified capital improvement plan to the golf course along with a rate increase. That way things are happening simultaneously.
Okay.
As we've discussed, golfers respond to something they can see. So whether it's improving the area behind the clubhouse, whether it's building new teen grounds, whether it's improving the cart paths, you could pick any project out there. Give them one or two things that they're gonna put a net around the driving range. I mean, there's so many things that you can do to improve the property. If we're gonna increase rates, we gotta be able to show them something. And so I don't think 42% over a period of time really will be that big of a deal, especially if the golf course is continuously improved. I think 42% immediately is very aggressive, and it's too aggressive for our overall picture.
Okay.
That's why what I wrote in May, I still think is pretty good. I mean, we all would make more money with those rates, and then you could do the same exact thing the following year, especially if they saw an improved product.
Councilman Garvey?
Councilman Brennan?
I'd like to ask for a 2-minute recess. I need a sidebar conversation with our legal counsel, please.
Okay.
Okay.
You need to gavel recess.
Oh, thank you.
Still my time?
Councilman Brennan?
Thank you. TJ, I'm sure for many reasons, but one reason you're here is because the council asked you to be here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the reason that I asked you to be here?
I don't remember you asking me to be here. I have no idea.
You don't remember that at all?
No.
And at the time, the council that was present was in full support of the request?
Which request, I'm sorry?
To be present today, specifically for this meeting?
Oh, yeah, okay.
You don't remember why?
Man, I don't, what are you asking me? I'm sorry.
I'm asking you why for the city's purpose, right? Not for the public hearing, but for our reason, why you were asked to be here today.
Well, tonight was a rate discussion. I mean, that's an important topic.
Right. So, in the rate discussion that we had earlier where we got to to these numbers, you were in full support of the 42% and helped push us to that number. Isn't that true?
No, that's not true, no. I said the whole time, I think we should taper those rates. Like 10%, I'm sorry, am I under interrogation here? I feel like I'm like a criminal.
I'm sorry you feel that way, TJ, but it was very clear to the council that was here that you were in full support of those numbers. And now, when everybody's present listening, you're not. So I'm a little frustrated. Yes.
I don't remember being in support of a 42% rate increase, no sir. I proposed what I thought was fair back in May. I said numerous times that we need to have a simultaneous capital improvement plan if we're going to increase rates. I've said numerous times, every place I've been, that we're seeing rates get increased. Golfers respond to something they can tangibly see.
And we're talking about that, about getting those tangible results in a contract that we're trying to work through with you.
Well, that's a portion of it. I'm talking about capital improvement plan to the property.
Right.
I mean,
which comes with increased numbers. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to table tonight's action for the increased rates. I'm not ready to make a decision on this at this time, and I think we need to have both a contract. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. So I'm gonna make a motion just to table it because. To go side by side with a contract discussion.
Councilman Garvey?
Councilman Bundy?
Since I was not at the meetings where these discussions happened, I'll second the motion so that we can figure this out and come up with the best numbers.
Councilman Bundy? Just real quick. I understand you weren't at all of them, but you were at the last one mostly.
I was not at the meeting where the motion was made and the vote was taken on the 42%.
Right. I just want to make sure that you were at the last meeting.
I was at the executive session, which remains an executive session, but in that executive session, we did not discuss the raise of the golf course fees. I can say what we didn't talk about, but I can't say what we did talk about.
I
was at the executive session
come together
where we did not talk about the fees.
Okay, so I have a motion and I have a second. I will call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey? Aye.
Good.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to action item number 3, deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning's Commission recommendation and finding of facts for the denial of a conditional use permit to allow for the construction of an RV park in C4 zoning district at the corner of Northwest Jerome, Northwest Smith Road. Taryn, I believe this is you. Is it not Taryn? Okay, come on up.
Can I invite the VIPs with me?
You do whatever, yes, you do whatever you feel you need to do.
I'll sit right here.
If you both can just state your name so the microphone knows. Not knows, but when we transcribe. Sorry.
It's just normal.
Yeah, okay, my name is Nancy Pamela Ibarra.
I am Miguel Ontiveros.
Thank you, guys.
And they speak English, just for the record, very well, so there may be a few specifics. So if I lean over and say something in Spanish, it's just to clarify.
Okay.
To make sure that they fully understand what's being discussed.
You're not showing off?
Absolutely.
I know. Thank you, Taryn.
I don't know if my Spanish is good enough to show off.
Dual abilities.
Councilwoman Garvey and esteemed council members, again, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to present to you. And as
I'm working on it.
usual, I have There we go. Perfect. Presentation. For the sake of your time and consideration of your time as well, I'll skip through it pretty quickly. I believe and hope that you had an opportunity to read through the packet. And we believe this is a very good project and a good use of an infill property on the corner of Northwest Jerome and Smith Street. And starting to think there may be a ghost in here.
I know. We're all convinced.
It's the ghost of all the past mayors.
Right. So,
Oh, that's true.
If you hurry, it'll stay on the screen.
okay, I will hurry. So, this will be a vicinity map to indicate where the subject property is located. And as you can see, hopefully, it's on Smith Street and Northwest Jerome on the corner. We do have improvements along Northwest Jerome, and this is what the property currently looks like. There are no improvements along Smith Street. I do like to show general context. So this is further up on Northwest Jerome, looking to the south on Northwest Jerome back towards the property. And the condition of the street is a little more recent. I do have I think this topic may come up, so I included the plat of record for reference. And Mr. Curtis may be able to speak to this perhaps even a little better than I. We do have a 40-foot right-of-way dedication on Smith Street. That did come up during planning and zoning, and a 50-foot right-of-way on Jerome. Here it's stated as Jerome Street. I believe it's Northwest Jerome.
Northwest Jerome.
I lost it.
I'm not touching
Oh.
it like that.
Oh, it'll
There
be
it goes.
back. It usually comes back in a
Okay,
second.
I'll go a little faster. So this, I can't go that fast. So this indicates the,
Good.
I'm just going to skip ahead. These maps include the area of impact for the city. I started to include this more often in the presentations to indicate where the property is located. And so this one is twisted, of course, north being this direction. And we are in a C4 zone, about right there, that has been annexed. Project snapshot, the subject property is just under 3/4 of an acre. C4, which allows outright permission through a CUP, through a conditional use permit, for an RV park. Density, we're well below our density allowed. We're asking for 11 spaces that would accommodate a 25-foot trailer. And so that will come up, so a 25-foot trailer. And let's see, we do provide 2 parking stalls in addition, per space, in addition to the RV pad. And we do have, we're well over our requirement for landscaping, well over. And that is, let me keep
There you go.
going.
You go. There you go.
Okay. That is in part due to 25-foot front and street side setbacks. We do have a 16-foot rear yard setback and a 5-foot interior side setback for the site. So as you can tell, I think this is a pretty good indication. Whoa.
You're going to just keep going.
Okay, I'm going to keep going.
Can you tell when it clicks back up?
I can see it on
Okay,
there.
cool.
So this would be the proposal. Does it allow me to zoom? No. We would like to gain access and so ingress and egress off of Smith Street. The reasoning is because of those front and street side setbacks of 25 feet, I'm able to get, I think we're able to get 2 additional spaces. So without that, if we were to gain access from Northwest Jerome, we would only be able to accommodate for 9 spaces, which in speaking with the client would make construction a little more difficult. It's easier to absorb it with the 11 spaces than it is the 9. So it's the quick math, I mean, it's almost 20%. So it actually, just under, it's about 18% increase in number of spots. So in this particular image as well, I did include the turning radius required for a truck. And this actually, they didn't have a 25-foot trailer, but they had a 30-foot trailer. So since it's larger, I put that in there so you could see that you are able, in fact, to make the turn. I do have from AASHTO, I can give you the full name of it, but abbreviation's normally a little easier. And their geometric design, that from where I pulled, and it is from them that I pulled the this particular turning radius. And it gives a whole bunch of additional information on RV vehicles. Okay, so we are in compliance. We're not asking for any deviations or variances whatsoever to the city ordinance for C4. Well, I could talk about landscaping. No? Okay. I'll truncate it and
We've seen it a few times.
Maybe I'd refresh my slides. So this is precisely what we would be planting over the vast majority of the site. I would like to note that the client does have a well on site, an operational well that would provide all of the potable water. Excuse me. Ouch, that's bad. So the irrigation water, excuse me, for the site and the landscaping. So no potable water would be used for landscaping. I do include a few pads that do have buffalo grass. This is to add a little bit of flexibility into the site, those who are traveling that may have children. And so kids like to get out, pull their shoes off, and walk through the grass, and this would allow them to do so. Okay, so I'll concentrate on just a couple of items for the comprehensive plan. One thing that I do believe is a benefit to an RV park is that it does, much like townhomes, it does provide a varied use in the area. There is the Cottonwood RV Park, for which I did take a bunch of pictures as a concern about vehicular traffic patterns and access came up during planning and zoning. And there are much tighter access, and it's much tighter interior movement and circulation for the Cottonwood RV Park than what we're proposing. It would be just a simple loop around. Okay, so thank you very much. I do have the AASHTO if you have questions about turning radii and vehicles.
Taryn, if I may. The road currently is 21 feet.
The pavement.
The pavement, correct. Okay, so, and I understand that you have a right-of-way. There's a 40-foot potential road there.
Correct.
What is the plan to extend that 21 feet to encompass your, what did you call it, your turning radius, anyway, the
yes,
short term. Okay.
AASHTO.
There we go, AASHTO. Okay, so what is the plan for that?
Excellent question. So we would be increasing the amount of pavement by approximately 6 feet. So that 21 foot would become 27 feet. And so there is some right-of-way to the north that would be available if that property were to develop in the future. But again, the 27 feet is what I show here that allows for a relatively easy turn into the property. So there would be improvements in additional asphalt or pavement on Smith Street to accommodate for this development.
Closer to their property, on their property essentially, okay.
Correct. So, and the nice thing about the platting is that, so as we discovered, we actually went over, I fielded a phone call and he said, well, is it too tight, Taryn? Are you not a good architect? So, so I took a look at it again. He didn't say that, I'm embellishing, sorry. And so we went over, I have a real measure and measured it and measured the 40 feet and I believe you're more comfortable. Están más cómodo, ¿verdad? Okay. So in order to provide, because it did come up, and we wanted to make sure that what we were proposing was a possibility.
Councilman McCarvey?
Councilman Brennan?
I think I'm asking the same thing. I'm just gonna try to get maybe a...
Phrase differently?
Yeah, absolutely. So the street as paved currently is 20 to 21 feet.
Correct.
And you're gonna add 6 feet of pavement to the south?
To the south.
As I can kind of see there.
Correct.
So that provides for 27 feet of pavement. And per ASHTO with a 30-foot trailer, how much width do you need for that turning radius?
It's actually about 25 feet of pavement.
25 feet.
So if I include curb and gutter, well, not curb, excuse me, but gutter, it's another 18 inches, so it gives me even more space to make the turn.
Now, is there any parking restrictions on that north side that would prevent somebody from parking in the way of that turning radius?
Great question. So that is entirely your purview, as the city and the council. As you probably have heard a few times, I don't believe on a roadway that narrow that there should be any public street parking. We do have considerable public street parking currently on improvements on Northwest Jerome, and fills up, as I've seen. There are a lot of cars that park on Northwest Jerome, and but it's public parking.
Sure. Now, is there any, sorry, kind of had a brain fart there. The plot shows 40 feet. Have you done any kind of what's the term I'm looking for? Survey to show where that extra 20 feet went?
So we do have the plat, which is a survey. I have not done any surveying and looked for, we did find the pins in the southeast corner that gives us then the measurement, and to the edge of their property, the corner of their property, and from there we walk the 40 feet.
Could you show me that on that map with a laser pointer or something? Do you have one?
I do have a laser pointer, but I have this as well. This is helpful.
Okay, thanks.
So I found the pin over here.
Okay.
And walked it off to find this property pin.
Okay.
So this would begin the improvements, the future improvements, if this project were to be approved. Improvements to Smith Street, and then walked 40 feet. So the 40 feet, as you know, includes the sidewalk, curb, and gutter for the right-of-way. It's not purely pavement.
Sure.
It's public right-of-way. And walked 40 feet, which takes us to just before the fence on the north. And you can see it, I gray it out because it's not what we're concentrating on. But this line, not the dark one, that's the edge of current pavement. That line right there, which is where I have the dimension for 40 feet, that is where the proposed improvements would occur on the north side.
And that's in front of the fence that's currently there.
It's just in front of the current existing fence.
The road side of the current fence, not the yard side?
Yes, the road side, correct. Correct. And that would be the northern edge or extent of the sidewalk.
The back of
The back of the sidewalk, correct.
Okay.
I like questions, so.
I'm just trying to wrap my brain around the 25 feet that you need with 27 feet of pavement. You need 25 feet of pavement, not of right-of-way, is that correct?
That's exactly correct.
So you got 2 extras, but then it would be impossible with a car parked in the roadway. On that north property line, whatever you'd call it, the neighboring property?
Oh, here?
Yeah, the north.
Yeah.
It would be more difficult, that is correct.
Okay.
Impossible, I don't like to use those types of terms. If I went and paid a visit to the Cottonwood RV Park in preparation, and to look at vehicles that they had, the size of vehicles, and I took pictures. I believe I included them further down, or slides in case it came up, to see that there are vehicles that do make really tight turns. So it's not impossible, but certainly not suggested that there would be larger vehicles, which is why we limited the size of those pads to 25-foot trailers. That's something that they can control and simply not lease it to those who have trailers that are larger. And I believe that they will, in their advertisements, they'll advertise for 25-foot trailers and less. And so they would be able to screen those that would use, or that may want to stay there.
Are you done?
No.
Okay, no, you're fine. I have
Is,
some other questions when you're
Chris,
done.
the property to the north, is that city limits? It appears to be on my map back here.
That is the city limits, yeah.
It's within the city, okay. Well, I don't think the city, maybe Rich, you could help me with this. How often through residential zoned area, let me caveat real quick, is that property to the north zoned R?
Well, it's in the county, so it's zoned as, it's residential.
I thought you said it's in the city.
No, the property line, the city is right on the edge of that. That's county.
That house right there is
Property line
county?
Right there,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the county is right on the edge.
If that were in the city limits, would that be zoned
be-
residential or commercial still?
It would be zoned residential.
Residential.
Yep.
And Rich, how often in residential zones does the city restrict parking?
Hardly at all.
So for us to move forward with, Taryn doesn't like parking on narrow streets, but then we would then have to take that action to pass this, to say those homeowners or whoever so chooses to park on the street there cannot do so in order for us to, for them to be able to meet their turning radius out of there. Is that correct?
There's 25, there's 2 feet to be able to do it, to have an extra 2 feet.
But not with a car parked there. A car width is 6 feet, 7 feet?
About 8,
Okay.
6.5 to 8 feet wide.
But if they be parking,
Correct.
so really that, if they were parking there, they would be parking on the sidewalk in the gutter. That's where a car would be parking in that 40-foot radius on that opposite side.
Is there a sidewalk curb and gutter on that?
There is not.
There isn't. But I mean, so the end of the back, so that 40 feet is back a curb, back a sidewalk to back a sidewalk. So if somebody's parking right here, right now, they would be parking on the sidewalk and part of the gutter. If they ever had to put.
The property line would basically have to be moved, but as it stands now, with Taryn and his client adding 6 feet of pavement, that's only 27 feet of pavement. We're not talking about curb, gutter, and sidewalk. And he needs 25 feet, and a car's parked there. He no longer has the distance that he needs to exit the trailers out of there.
Your turning radius doesn't go to here, right? So,
But the
turning radius doesn't extend all the way to the end of what that overall 40-foot easement is.
I can't see what you're pointing at.
Is there a way to make that a little bit bigger?
I tried.
So.
Oh, that's all right.
That, the square, the little light one way up above, right there, that would be the back of the sidewalk in that 40-foot, right? So his turning, so he's turning, if we bring in another 2 feet right here, I mean, right now, they're parking on their sidewalk. If somebody is there, plus another 2 feet, there should be enough room to be able to go in there.
Correct. I probably did not explain this very well. So, very good questions. This line right here shows the inside radius. This line shows the outside radius. So I could put it and squeeze it further down in the case that there was parking of another vehicle right here.
Or on the, he's talking about the.
He's talking about.
If there were vehicles here, again, the turning radius would just get pushed down. And then again, I would love to show you the AASHTO manual that has this great reading material.
When you say push down, though, what I think of is that in my non-architect mind, that says that you don't need 25 feet then to make your turn.
Correct. 25 feet is the nominal turning radius, and that would be actually, well, so here we have the turning radii. This would be for a full circle. You can see that here it's 36 feet to the center line, and then it gives you closer to 25 feet for the interior. That's with a 30-foot vehicle. Does that help any in describing how this is laid out?
Taryn, what's the chance you guys could get a survey done on the other property to see if they've encroached on the roadway? I don't want to take rights away from who's there already, the existing property owner, from like restricting parking in order to make this happen.
Can I just ask a quick?
It's in the county.
Yeah, okay, that's where I was gonna go, and I apologize not to cut you off, but we cannot restrict parking without an ordinance.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, when we can't just create an ordinance to restrict parking on Smith Road or Smith Street. So I think we need to not talk in that direction, because we can't do that. So now we go back to your survey of what you were asking.
We have the power to, with jurisdiction over our streets, to designate a street as being no parking. We just put up no parking signs if we have a reasonable basis to do that. But we can't just, sitting here, just say, no parking on that street.
Right, okay. And then we create a possible ordinance that we can't enforce, so, okay.
But I'm sure you do that all the time.
But the other side of that street that we're talking about is
Is
the
county.
county property.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
we're
we
not
don't
doing
have
it
any
to the county.
jurisdiction.
Yeah, we can't say anything to the county. They can park over there all day long.
Correct. Can't park on the road, is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Can I get a clarification what you're telling me to be quiet about?
No, I'm not telling you to be quiet. No. I'm specifying, or we have to create an ordinance to say no parking in that area that you're talking about.
Agreed.
Or just you guys' permission.
So since we basically can't, and if we didn't create an ordinance, and which I don't want to do right now,
You don't
then
have to
he
actually write an ordinance for it, but we do have to provide a basis for why we are.
But we couldn't
basically-
do it on that side because it's in the county.
Basically all I'm getting at is, as designed in my eyes, and I could be wrong, Taryn, is that this won't work with the turning radius of the width of the street, because there's clearly some encroachment on the street from maybe both sides. With I don't know, is a 21-foot street with curb gutter and sidewalk on both sides equal 40 feet? I don't know how wide a typical curb gutter sidewalk is.
So it'd be 5.5 feet and 18 inches, and so for a total of 7 feet.
Okay,
So 7 and 7, 14 minus 40 gives you 26. And that would be when both are improved. And so when I said 25 feet, that would be to the outside, or excuse me, to the center line. Really, you only need 15 feet, but the question is, if a car were parked there, what would be required? If a car were, say, were close to the ingress or egress, which is why if they're parked on the improved side, I show that you can navigate around them.
Right.
If a car were parked here, if I were just to take this graphic and move it down, you could see that you can navigate around them and into the RV park without causing damage to another's property.
Into or out of?
Both. Both.
And if that's your question, Rich has the authority, if you wanted to, that on either side of the entrance to that, we could put no parking. We would just to create safety for turning radius. We have every power to do that.
To restrict the parking spot on the outside, we do that in different places.
All the time. That's no problem.
Can I ask? Okay, so in all fairness, and I guess I'm kind of directing this more to the council, Thunderbolt Landing, you guys approved 30-foot roads without any question of the turning radius. And so I guess I just caution going forward, if we did it for them, I mean, that's 30 foot with curb, gutter, and everything. Those roads are narrow. And that was approved by the council. So I guess I might exercise a little bit of caution. The other question that I have, maybe to make the ingress and egress, the turnouts a little bit wider, would that solve the problem of having parking on the left and right if you have a little bit wider turn in, turn out instead of maybe, I don't know what you have there, 15 feet? What is that?
Yeah, the driveway
Normally
itself is
15, I
12.
think. 12, yeah. So if you couldn't maybe just make that a little bit wider to mitigate some of those problems. So, because a person's not going to park when you have your, now I don't know, do we have a code for that?
No, that's all up to, that's their discretion. And
Yeah, and then that would
usually,
mitigate that problem.
if it's like a driveway, pretty much right there are. But downtown businesses, we fix those to match what needs to be. So that takes care of your parking. So if you make a 20-foot egress, ingress.
Yeah, because that's what we did at the laundromat when you guys redid the road. Yeah, okay.
The wider the egress, the less you need a turning radius.
Right, right, exactly. So I'm just trying to think outside the box of like helping him with his questions, and if that's an actual option, I don't know cost-wise how much more that costs, but I think that will help mitigate the potential problems of the cars parking there.
Councilwoman Garvey, if I may add, so the 12-foot drive lanes was as a possibility or suggestion from Fire Marshal,
Okay.
So Brian Reed. And in order to make the RV pads a little bit larger, so he said he was comfortable with getting the fire apparatus in there. And so you're exactly right. If the turning radius is the question, turning in and out of the property is the question, we can design for a wider, I think as you're saying, so a splayed ingress and egress to make sure that there isn't any damage or difficulty in getting in.
That will save your curb and gutter as well from trucks going up and over it.
Correct.
So, okay.
Councilman Garvey.
Go ahead, Councilman Bundy?
So I think this is directed to legal. So I'm in planning and zoning meetings and discussion decision from planning and zoning.
Yes.
Okay? So I'm on number 5. Per city code, the proposed, I'm going to abbreviate just a little bit, so I apologize. Per city code, the proposed RV park as presented is compatible with the surrounding area. B, per city code 9-17, the following standards of conditional use permit have been met. I, or 1, the proposed use is in fact an allowed conditional use in that C4 zone. 2, the proposed use is in accordance with goals and objectives of the Mountain Home Comprehensive Plan. 3, as presented, the proposed use is designed and would be constructed, operated, and maintained to be harmonious with the existing or the intended character of the general vicinity, etc., etc. 4, the proposed use would not be hazardous or disturbing. There's a question in here, I apologize, but I have to lead up to it.
That's
all right.
Okay.
We're just going through the parameters of the.
5, the proposed use will not be served adequately by existing public facilities and services to the street, although it will be adequately served by schools, police, and fire protection during, okay, so there's, let's see, 6, the proposed use will not create excessive additional requirements at public cost for facilities. 7, the proposed use will not involve uses, activities, or conditions of operation that could be detrimental. 8, the proposed use will not result in the destruction, loss, or damage of a natural or scenic feature of major importance. So in the first part, I don't see any major objections, correct?
No.
Okay. Then we go to the conclusions of law. Number 1, the notice and hearing requirements of Idaho Code Section 676509A have been met. 2, the action taken herein does not violate Chapter 80 of Title 67.
That's takings law.
Okay. Number 3, the requested conditional use permit is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. Here's my question. Number 4, the requested conditional use permit does not meet the criteria for a conditional use permit per city code because the 21-foot wide access street is too narrow to accommodate turning RV traffic and therefore will not be adequately served by existing public streets. In your legal opinion, what is for telling us?
Or, so if you go above to the findings, the only one, they're a little bit inconsistent with each other, I'll grant you that. Will not be adequately served by existing public facilities. So what that is saying is streets.
So that contradicts itself in the report, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt, I apologize.
Where you wrote.
Because in 5, okay, I'm sorry, it does say will not be.
There you go. To save a tree, I did 2 pages on each thing, but now I
Do you need
can't
my,
read it.
do you need my really funny pink glasses?
You just let your eyes fix, you can read everything.
I know.
Evidently not. Oh,
But here's the basis of my question.
Mine's right there.
it's on the part where they'd be hanging their hat, so to speak, not that I was there.
Everyone wants a home.
The proposed use will not be served adequately by existing essential public facilities and services such as streets, although it will be adequately served by schools, fire, blah, blah, blah. So that's where if you're asking me what the method behind the madness of how you can come to that conclusion of law, it would be based on 5 entirely, that the existing street system, I'm not sure I legally agree with that, but I'm saying that that's what the basis of the decision was.
So here's my question. Is there anything in the conclusions of law that indicates they have not met all of the requirements that we have requested them to meet?
The one I just said. That would be the only one that can hang.
So there is a possible problem with the turning radius, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that if you accept that factual conclusion as true, then it meets the legal definition, perhaps, of not having adequate facilities to serve it. So even though if you have a, should I give you a legal answer? Even though you might have a right-of-way that is certainly adequately to do it, a condition of approval would be you have to widen the road, et cetera, if this was something large. You would have to widen the road to be able to accommodate that kind of thing, or you'd have to put in a traffic signal, or you'd have to put in a stop sign, or you would have to have, think of a large subdivision, how you would have to have various ways. You'd have to have an arterial so that you didn't put the burden upon the arterial. So there's all kinds of reasons why streets would not be satisfied. I'm not suggesting that that's true here.
Is what he was talking about, the addition or the turning radiuses, are those what were put in to address number 4 in the conclusions of law?
Yeah, all of this of what he's been
is
hard going through the slides and all that stuff. It's
all about number 4.
All about
to rectify number 4. Is that what I? Okay, so that took me a while to get to my question.
So what Terrence's doing is just saying, hey, look, okay, I understand P&Z had a problem with this thing. I'm going to address that now, and so that's why he's highlighting those parts, and that's why a little bit of the give and take with Councilman Brennan is like, okay, here's why the turning doesn't work.
And I just wanted to, okay,
why.
and so I continue. I just wanted to see if that's the goal of what you're doing here, is to rectify 4, and then he's just making sure that he's comfortable with the fix. Is that kind of where I'm at?
The one tiny little chink in the armor of this one is the factual conclusion.
Okay.
As to whether.
'Cause I've been struggling as I've been going on the notes here, and now I figured out in my head. So thank you. Okay.
I had hoped that I would explain it better. So
no. This is.
Sometimes you need a lawyer for that.
Yes. Without question.
Never. And that's why I kept going back to it, because of what you were saying. So.
Correct.
Council, any other questions?
Councilman Garvin?
Councilman Brennan?
I kind of whispered it over here, but I do appreciate his working through that
Absolutely.
This up here is what you've done to address the denial, or the proposed, recommended denial. So I guess it doesn't look like it's going to hurt the neighbors over there by any means. If anybody's hurt at all, it's going to be your residents of your RV park and not being able to get out. And I hope they don't call the police and say, that car's keeping me from getting out of the RV park. If that's the case, and that's the only issue that's been addressed, then I'm fine.
Conversation.
Okay, so, do I have a motion? Or I guess I can make the motion, can't I? I make a motion to approve the deliberation decision on the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation
No.
No.
Well, unless you're denying it.
Unless you're, yeah.
We have
Am I
to
not in
change
the
the
right
motion
one?
to approve it.
I'm so sorry, I'm
rejecting
reading it,
recommendation.
I apologize, I'm reading it verbatim.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm very used to doing that, I apologize. You can
why I
all
always-
fire me and I won't ever come back.
This is a weird one.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the deliberation decision on the Planning and Zoning Commission.
No, your motion, if you're seeking to approve this, you're rejecting the recommendation
Oh.
of the Planning and Zoning Commission and then thereafter moving to approve.
Oh, okay, all right, I've never made a motion like that before. Okay, so I make a motion to reject the denial from Planning and Zoning's Commission for the conditional use permit to allow for the construction of an RV park in a C4 zoning district at the corner of Northwest Jerome and Northwest Smith Road.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman McGarvey? Aye. Okay, so we will move on.
Got a motion to approve it.
Oh, now I need to make the motion. Okay, I've never made a motion like this before. Okay, so I make a motion to approve the conditional use permit to allow for construction of an RV park in C4 zoning district at the corner of Northwest Jerome and Northwest Smith Road.
Second.
Okay. Question, Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Garvey? Aye. Okay,
Councilwoman Yard.
yes.
I just would like to thank the council for that. The property owners have come multiple times to try to figure out what to do with that property. And so we told them, nope, they can't do that, nope, they can't do that. And so they've been really working diligently to figure out how that property could best be used. So
Thank you,
just want
guys.
you to know that. And thank you guys for your
Thank you.
your
Thank you for-
patience in trying to get that through. And it's, so, thank you so much.
Awesome. Great, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to number 4. That would be Taryn again, but I'll wait for him to be done. Action item number 4 is deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning's Commission recommendation of finding of facts to amend Colthorpe Common Planned Unit Development, PUD, with conditions. You could probably tell them they don't have to sit through this.
I just did.
Okay.
Pueden sentar detrás si quieren. Y nos platicamos después. O pueden salir también si quieren.
Gracias.
Y nos podemos llamar.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Councilman Brennan.
Sharon, can I just jump right in here and ask, as I understand it from Chris, you told me the only change from the initial approval was you're breaking it down into individual lots. There's not a single thing other that has changed. So individual lots can be sold versus 3 lots.
That's correct. So individual lots with accompanying, if you looked at the plat, kind of spiders around a little bit, and that was to make sure that the actual townhouse lot had a corresponding, 2 corresponding parking spaces, and that it was contiguous, so you didn't have islands. So yes.
And I asked Chris too, each lot will be individually metered for all the EDU purposes and everything like that. The only thing that wasn't put on here that I'm going to ask to come back on was the decision and recommendation conditions, which is my typical based upon water availability at the time of building permit.
Absolutely.
Supposed to be automatic.
Sorry.
It was probably, you went off the old one and it wasn't on there, so.
We were trying to get everything. Taryn's been very patient with city staff, so thank you,
You
Taryn.
guys are great. No complaints.
Councilman Garvey?
Councilman Brennan?
If nobody else has anything, I'll just make a motion to, let me make sure I'm reading the right one here. To approve Planning and Zoning's Commission recommendation of finding facts to amend Colthorpe Commons planned unit development with conditions, adding the new condition.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilman Garvey, aye. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
And Taryn, I think that's a great idea. I think that will fill that area a lot better than having it all owned by one person, because that's a lot to sell, and yeah, I think it's a
We
good
now
idea.
have, so financing, you probably heard this before,
Mhm.
financing has been really hard.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's gonna, the mortgage rates are gonna tick up again. And this, we have multiple buyers now that
Yeah.
can't bite off 64 units, or even a phase of 29, but they can do 8 or 15. So that was really the catalyst behind it, is we do have ready buyers now.
Yeah, that was one of my concerns when it was initially approved. I thought, that's a really big project for one owner, or one common.
I love my client. He's one of the best clients that an architect could have. I suggested that maybe we look at splitting him up. He's like, no, we'll take care of it. So I appreciate the counsel.
Okay, we will run down to action item number 5, deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation of finding of facts to amend Colthorpe Commons preliminary plat with conditions.
Councilman Garvey.
Councilman Brennan.
Make a motion to approve Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation finding facts to amend Colthorpe Commons preliminary plat with the same conditions, adding the water availability.
Second. Okay, I'll call for the question. Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Garvey? Aye. Okay.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Taryn.
Thank you.
Oh, Councilman Bundy's already got it. He's on top.
I'm excited to get the presentation.
Okay, so we'll run down to ordinances, action item number 1. Ordinance number 1784, annexation of property owned by Harlan Marks.
Councilman Garvey,
Councilman Bundy,
make a motion that we suspend the 3 reading rule and read this ordinance by title only for its one and only reading tonight.
second. Okay, we'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Garvey? Aye. Tiffany, please read the ordinance.
Ordinance 1784, an ordinance annexing to the city of Mountain Home, Idaho, the real property hereinafter described and declaring the same by proper legal description thereof to be part of said city of Mountain Home, Idaho, and providing an effective date.
Okay, council, you've heard the ordinance. Does everyone wish to have it approved? Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey, aye. Okay, we'll move to number 2, action item ordinance number 1785, zone R4, approximately .191 acres of land located on Northwest Colthorpe Drive between Northwest Garrett Avenue and Northwest Jerome Avenue, owned by Harlan Marks.
For a motion.
I'm sorry?
For a motion.
Yes.
I make a motion that we suspend the 3 reading rule and read this ordinance by title only for its one and only reading tonight.
Second. Okay, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
I have a question.
Councilman Brennan?
Rich, this is the annexation agreement that you told me the sidewalk thing is in here?
We're on.
It's delayed till they need it.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the one.
The
Yes.
Harlan Marks.
I'm so sorry. I'm blind without my red pen already on here. Where's that out on here?
It's on.
Number 5.
Number 5. Paragraph 5?
Page 5.
That's yeah, it should be on a different one.
I'm on the annexation agreement, right?
Were you reading findings of facts of it?
I was reading the findings of fact, but
By interlineation, we can add
Yeah.
the
If
verbiage
it's
from
not there.
findings of facts into that agreement.
yeah, I thought the findings of fact were, I thought that was usually in it, but it's on the findings of facts, we can get that.
If we just add that to interlineation, I'm fine. That's what I was talking about. I was like, I don't remember seeing it. Okay.
Is that what you did a follow-up email to me?
I did!
Tiffany got
And
it.
you told me, like, yeah, we told Brendan, you're crazy. And I was like, oh,
What's the appropriate stage for me to add the interlineation? Before this first vote is held, or after, for the second one for approval?
It would be for discussion, and then the maker of the motion for approval would incorporate it.
So you can make the motion and it's added in.
Now, before reading? Okay.
So you have a motion to suspend the reading, you have a second.
so we need to vote.
So
on
I'm
it.
calling for the,
voted.
yeah, I'm
Yep.
calling for the questions, like, so Councilman,
You can do it in a second.
Okay, I'll do it in the second one.
Yep.
Okay. Can you call for my vote? Aye.
okay, Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Garvey? Aye, okay.
And then now whoever says I move to approve, blah, 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 with
the
adding by interlineation to reiterate what is identified in the annexation agreement be placed in the findings, or is it the other way around?
It to be placed in the annexation. Findings will next be added to the annexation agreement.
Councilman Garvey?
Councilman Brennan?
I'll make a motion.
Not
Don't have to
yet.
read?
She has to read it
I'll
first.
read it first.
You have to read first.
Please read.
Okay.
So confusing.
It's been a long meeting.
Motion on that.
Oh, a
Yeah,
lot tonight.
there's no motion on that yet.
Yeah.
They just made the motion to suspend. Now they need to make a motion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're up now. Yeah.
Okay, I'm still good again with you. Okay.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to, read or approve? Approve, ordinance number 1785, zone R4, approximately 1.91 acres of land located on Northwest Colthorpe Drive between Northwest Garrett Avenue, Northwest Jerome, owned by Harlan Marks, adding through interlineation in the annexation agreement the requirement to build and construct a sidewalk, curb, and gutter when the city typically requires it, when sidewalk, curb, and gutter meets his property line.
Second.
Councilman Garvey,
Councilman Bundy?
real quick, because it's been a long night, I believe you put your decimal point in the wrong place.
I did.
No.
Oh.
You said 1.91 as opposed to .191.
Oh, thank you.
So correct that in the motion.
Okay, Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Garvey? Aye. Okay. Me? Please read the ordinance. For one and only readings, I know.
Okay. Ordinance 1785, an ordinance of the City of Mountain Home, Idaho, declaring the real property hereinafter described to be R4 zone, subject to limitations of allowed use, repealing all ordinances and parts of ordinances, and conflicting herewithin, and providing an effective date.
Okay, council, you've heard the ordinance. Do you wish it to pass? Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Garvey? Aye. Okay. We will move down to recognizing persons in the audience. I thank you for who held out on this long meeting, and I apologize for my miscomings. Is there anyone that would like to get up and speak? Please limit your comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Decker.
Madam President, members of the council, I wasn't really anticipating coming back up to speak, so now you get to see me in my true extemporaneous form. First, I want to thank the council for taking the responsible action of tabling the motion earlier this evening. Given the nature and the exchanges I witnessed from the audience, it seemed clear to me that this is not at a point where it's ready to go forward. So I applaud the council for taking this action to table. Along this same line, though, it is also very clear that this is a very dynamic situation that is, for many people, quite emotional. And it also appears that the council may consider benefiting from having a select committee made up of individuals that have currently worked on this issue and members of the public that have demonstrated their ability to look at this in a systemic way. Because clearly, to me at least, the council has much more they need to do other than to decide on some numbers. You've got a marketing problem, folks. And marketing is what will sway the day when your decision is made. The longevity of the course, the need for a comprehensive plan or a strategic plan, these were things I mentioned when TCS was originally contracted. If you really want to see long-term benefits from this course, whether it is an enterprise or an amenity, regardless, rushing to getting there is not going to give you the product you're hoping for in the long term. The old adage was you can have one of three things. You can have it cheap, you can have it fast, you can have it good. You can only have two of them, you can't have all three. If you want it cheap and fast, it's not going to be good. You want it fast and good, it's not going to be cheap. That's been an old axiom for many years, and so far it's held up pretty well. So my suggestion to you is consider inviting some members of the citizenry into your meetings along with your local professionals to get that blended view that you can come together with a cohesive plan for not only improving it and getting to the goal of having the course you want, but also being able to develop the message you want to send to your constituents so they will support it. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Decker. Anybody else? Yes, please, so we can hear you clearly.
I'm new at this. My name's Anita. I just got a whole book on your ordinance. I just got that from Brenda over there. Is this ordinance a new one? Okay, so how do I get that? I mean, this information so I could put to that book.
Land use ordinances don't get recorded in our books.
Okay.
So they would be recorded at the county because they're specific to property.
At the
So-
county? Okay.
Yeah, so once it gets, we have to record it and then it will go on to the county. It's quite a process, so if you write your number down, I will gladly call you tomorrow and let you know how that works.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Did you get what a tail number was?
Yeah.
So the tail number is a number. On all airplanes, there's a number that's specifically unique to that airplane. So that they have, the FAA rule says they have to put it at some airport. We want them here. So they would record it here. That is our airplane.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like a driver license plate.
And sometimes you don't talk loud enough for all of us to hear back there. Is that possible that we could just raise our hand and say, talk louder? 'Cause
Yes, yeah.
You're all talking this
Yes.
way, and it's very hard for all of us back there. I know a lot of them were trying to go like this or not ask, but it's hard for us to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all I want.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm learning all this, so bear with me, okay?
No, you're good. I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Don?
So which do I get to talk about? Old business, new business?
You can talk about whatever you want to talk about for 3 minutes.
Well, it's not public hearing items, right?
Well, you guys passed Terrence deal. I didn't have too much to say about that, but what about, have you guys thought about, like, if an emergency vehicle pulls up there, there's also, all them people down that other side of the road are old people, and they need to be able to, if they have company, they don't have anywhere to park around there, really. I mean, if somebody parks on that other side on their own, and they ain't able to walk that far, and they're handicapped too, to go in and see them other old folks. What do you got? Emergency vehicles, whatever. Let's see, what was the other thing? I'd like to see that you guys don't charge Mr. Harlan too much money for his water now. Because he doesn't have nothing but him, his wife, and a dog. He has no lawn. He has trees that grow on their own out there, and maybe a flower plant or something out there, and whatever he's got in the house. And maybe he has a dishwasher and a bathtub or a shower. So his rates better be awful darn cheap.
I'm sorry, you're looking at me, so I feel
Well,
compelled to
I'm
say
not
I
picking
don't
on you,
control the
but I mean-
rates, so.
I know,
I
but his
apologize.
rates better be dang cheap, because
It would
Rich,
be,
please.
it would be the base rate, whatever, that's about all he would have, because he's not gonna use more than 5,000 gallons a month, so
Yeah.
he would
I
just
don't
be
even
the base
think he'll
rate.
use that if he's lucky.
So we have a minimum of 5,000.
I realize that,
Yeah.
but, okay. So am I up or not? No.
You got 15 seconds.
No. So, are you guys, on the loader, you guys, you just leasing that or replacing one or what? On,
It's just refinancing.
Yeah, we're just refinancing
refinancing?
it.
Yeah.
So how many loaders we got? We got 2 backhoes. I think they got a couple of loaders
We have-
besides the little ones.
That was our big street department one, so.
Mhm. Are you
it's in the street
downsizing or what?
department.
Are you downsizing the machines?
No,
size?
it's the same machine, we just didn't wanna pay it in a lump sum right now, so we're gonna finance that lump sum over 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So it's the same machine, we're just gonna keep paying, instead of our
Paying
lease,
on-
we're gonna keep paying for it.
So you're leasing to own,
Yes.
more or less?
Yes.
We lease to own.
So how many do we already own
That's the only one in the street department.
that they own? Okay. Okay. Well, I seen some other things, but I'll talk about them later with you or
Just
something.
yeah, your 15-second notice too.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I guess that's pretty much it, other than, hopefully nobody has a problem with that corner there. Because if somebody pulls in there, somebody's gonna be waiting to come in or out of that RV park.
Thank you, Don. Okay, council, any final comments?
Jim, I'm gonna give you a quick spiel. Okay, we're closing up the different
15
well-
seconds.
Yep, closing up the different wells in the water department, so, because, we're not using much water, so that's what they're doing right there. Wastewater, same thing with the farm, getting stuff all bundled up, getting all of our end-of-year reports put together, same thing with water. The little golf carts are done with their checking all of our lines, so we'll get all that data back here as soon as they're done with it. Street-wise, they're going to pave 18th pave 8th and close it up on Thursday. So if everything goes right, so that's where we are. So hopefully it doesn't get too wet. It might have to get pushed to Friday. It depends on how much rain we get tomorrow, and if it can get dried out enough to be able to go. So that's where we are. That closes up that. All of our projects would be sealed up then.
Yay. Great. Tiffany?
We'll have a spooktacular booth, and please come by, help us pass out candy to all the wonderful costumes on Friday night. So you guys, please come. You're invited. And then the personnel policy, I didn't put it on here because I knew tonight would be a long one, so it will be for discussion for sure next time.
Thank you. And that's the one that was in the packet, right? Or this one?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Yep. And we have had some staff comments on it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. That's all I have.
Legal? I'm sorry I missed you guys.
It's okay.
Okay.
Save the best for last.
I did. What can we say? All right, with no other comments, the meeting is adjourned.